So today we'll be discussing about port security. And port security basically deals with the securing your switch ports. Okay. All right. So how you can secure the ports? How you can secure the switch ports? The easiest way to secure a switch port is manually shut down your unused ports. And how do you shut down the port? Just simply go to the interface name, and then what you can do? Shut down. This is the command. Okay. If you give this command, that particular port will be in the administratively down state. Okay. All right. Now, why would we shut down the port? So consider a scenario here. Let's say you have the switch. This is the switch. Now this switch has how many ports? 24 ports by default, correct? So let's say as of now, only one PC is connected. And let's name this PC as authorized PC. This is the authorized PC. And when I connect this authorized PC, this will be connected to the first port, let's say. Okay. Now remaining ports, let's say port number 2, F0 by 2. That particular port is what? Not used right now. Correct. So what I can do to secure that port, because otherwise, if I will not secure the port, what will happen? Let's say this is your unauthorized PC. Okay. So what will happen? Any unauthorized person will be able to connect to your switch. Why? Because the port is not in the down state. So anytime you connect a PC, that PC will be able to communicate with the authorized systems. Okay. Or let's say you have a server here. So one PC I will use this side. And I will connect it on some different port. Okay. So now let's say this is your server. Okay. And this server is having the IP 10.1.1.100. Okay. Authorized PC is having the IP 10.1.1.1. And this unauthorized PC, let's say he will set up the IP address 10.1.1.2. Okay. Now let's go and set the IP addresses. 10.1.1.1. Okay, so many ones. And let's say this is your server. Okay. Now what will happen? These authorized PCs, obviously they will be able to communicate with the server. Correct. But if your ports are not secure, then even the unauthorized PC, they will be able to communicate. Correct. Okay. Now what we can do, we can shut down these ports, unused ports. So let me remove the cable. Go to the CLI. Now which port is the second port? Okay. So configuration terminal, interface F0 by 2 and shut down. Now it is in the administratively downstate. Now if this unauthorized PC tries to connect, it will remain in the downstate, will not be able to communicate. See, no communication will happen. Why? Because the port is in downstate. This is clear. This is one way to secure the port. Now what they can do, let's say this is the same person, authorized person of the company who want to use their personal PC also in the company. Okay. So if they are connecting to different ports, it's not working. So what they will do? They'll remove this cable. Correct? Because other ports, they are in the down state, but this port is in the up state. So what they can do, they'll say, think like, okay, what I'll do, I'll bring a switch tomorrow. Okay. I'll bring one extra switch tomorrow. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect this cable in this switch. Okay, because this port is up, so I will connect this cable in the switch. And now what I can do? I can connect like this. I just have to bring one extra switch here. So there are small 4-port switch also available in the market. They'll bring that kind of switches and they will start having the communication. Correct. See, have the communication. And here also have the communication. So again, we need to stop these kind of things. How you're going to stop? See, if you usually see through this port, if only one authorized PC is connected, how many MAC address will be communicating? Only one, because your PC will have only one MAC address. Correct. But as of now, if you see, one MAC address is for PC, one MAC address for switch, two MAC addresses, or if this PC is also communicating, 3 MAC addresses are trying to communicate. Okay. So what we can do, we can apply some security on this port so that only one MAC address will be allowed through this port. Okay. So what we can do, we can secure the switch ports and we can enable the port security. So how you enable the port security? Second method is enable port security to allow only one MAC address. To allow only one MAC address. How you are going to enable port security? Just go to the interface. Okay. Then interface name. And after that, see, your port security cannot be enabled on dynamic interfaces. Okay. Your switch ports by default in the dynamic auto state. In DTP we study that there is a dynamic auto, dynamic desirable. So by default, your switch ports are in which state? Dynamic auto. So on auto means on dynamic ports, we cannot use this. So we will have to give a command switch port mode access to make it permanent access. Okay. And then if you want to enable port security, command is very simple. Switch port security. This is the command. And when you enable port security, by default, only one MAC address will be allowed. Is that clear? Okay. If you want to check port security status, okay, in that case, your command will be, okay, check port security status. Okay. For checking the port security status, your command will be show port security interface and then interface name. Okay. Like this, you're going to check. Now see, if I want to check the port security status, did I enable any sort of port security on the interface F0/1? No. So let's go and check. Show port security interface, and let's say interface is F0/1. Right now, what is the port security status? Disabled. State of the port is down, because port security has not been enabled, so it will show down only. What is the violation mode? Shutdown. See, in your port security, you have 3 violation modes. Okay. Port security violation modes. There are 3 violations. Number 1, shutdown. Okay. This is the by default mode. This is the, you can say, default violation. Okay. In this violation mode, what is going to happen? If violation occurs, the port will move to error disable state. Error disable state means basically you can say shutdown state. Okay. Your error disable state means basically shutdown state. Let me say in the bracket. Okay. So if violation occurred and port moved to the shutdown state, even your authorized PC will not be able to take access. You can say even authorized PC will not have access after violation. Okay. Obviously, unauthorized PC will not have the access because port is in the down state. But even if your authorized PC tries to communicate, even that will not be able to communicate. Okay. And here logs will be generated. In this case, logs will be generated. Then we have your second violation mode. Second violation mode is restrict. Okay. In the restrict mode, what is going to happen? If violation occurs, the port will not move to, or I'll say simply the port will not go down. Okay. Here, what will happen? One more thing I forgot to mention. That see, if the port is in the down state, now by automatically the port will not come up. Okay. So the admin has to go to the port, and if the admin goes to the port and give no shutdown command, still the port will not come. To bring the port up, the admin will have to go to the port. First of all, give shutdown command, then no shutdown command. Okay. If you directly go and give no shutdown command, it will not work. Okay. So here, one more point we can mention. To bring the port back up, the admin has to manually shut down and no shutdown. Okay, means admin will have to go and give the shutdown and no shutdown command manually. Okay. Still not sufficient. Later on, we'll change. If violation occurs here, what will happen? Port will not go down. But also, unauthorized PC will not have the access. And authorized PC will have the access. Okay. Then here also logs will be generated. Here also logs will be generated. Now, since the board is not going down, the admin doesn't have to go and give the shutdown and no shutdown command. Okay. This is clear. The third mode we have is the protect mode. The third mode we have is the protect mode. And in the protect mode, this is exactly same as your restrict. Only difference is logs will not be generated. Okay. You can say here simply that it is same as, or let me just do one thing, copy paste. This is exactly same as your restrict. Only difference is logs will not be generated. Okay. Logs will not be generated. These are the differences. Okay. So in the shutdown mode, we had a problem that, okay, you have to manually go and no shutdown, right? Shutdown and no shutdown. You have to do it every time. Okay. Then you came up with the restrict concept. In the restrict concept, okay, the port was not going down, so you didn't have to go and give shutdown and no shutdown command. But what was the problem? Logs were generated. Now, how logs can be a bad thing? Correct. Because when logs are generated, and if continuous violation is happening, a lot of logs will be generated. Okay. And when a lot of logs are generated, your router CPU will be used. Okay. I mean, your switch CPU will be used. So to avoid that, we have the protect mode where the logs will also not be generated. Is that clear? So automatically, the unauthorized PC will not have the access, so we don't need to worry about the logs and anything. Okay, unauthorized PC is already not having the access, authorized will have the access, so we don't have to worry about it. Is that clear? Okay, so we were discussing that we can enable port security to allow only one MAC address. By default, you can see here how many maximum MAC addresses are allowed here. Only one. How many times the violation occurred? 0 times. Okay. So why? Because the port security has not been configured. So now let's go and configure port security on the interface F0.
Sir, there is a command switch port mode access. After that, why need the command switch port security? Because the switch port access command will carry only one VLAN data. But there is
are these PCs aware of VLAN? Who decides the VLAN? This particular port decides the VLAN. These are not in different VLAN. This one single port, this one, what I said, your hosts are not aware of the VLAN. The VLAN concept is just for the switch. So where you will be configuring the VLAN? In this switch. So when the traffic will come to this port, then only it will have the tag of VLAN 10, 20. But doesn't matter from how many PCs it is coming. Okay. What I want to do, I want that only this PC should have the access. Only one PC should have the access from one port, not more than one. Okay. So what you're going to do for this, you're going to enable port security. How you're going to enable? Interface F0 Okay, let's say I will not give the command switch port mode access. Okay. And directly if I try switch port security, you will get an error. What it is saying? Command rejected. Why? Because your interface is a dynamic port. So you'll have to go and give the command switch port mode access. And then you give the command switch port security. And now it is enabled. Now check. To show port security interface F0/1. What is the state? Enabled. Status. Violation mode. Maximum MAC address is allowed. Okay. So right now you see what will happen here. If I will try to communicate, how many MAC addresses will be there? 2. So even if your authorized PC will try to communicate or your unauthorized PC, it doesn't matter. Right now we are filtering based on the MAC addresses, that how many MAC addresses are there. How many we have allowed? Only 2. Sorry. How many we have allowed? Only 1 by default. Okay. So if even the authorized PC tries to communicate, you will see the port will go to the down state. Do you see here? The port is in the down state and even the authorized PC is not having the communication. Correct. So now let's say if I go to the switch, you see here, the port went to the down state. Let me go to the port. Interface app 0/1. And directly if I try to give no shutdown command, see how many times I will give, doesn't matter. The port is never going to come up. What do you have to do? Give the command shutdown. Now it is an administrative down state, no shutdown. And this is where your port will come up. Okay. So means now this guy cannot use the switch also. Now this guy is not able to use the switch also. Okay. He'll be more smart. Okay. He came to know that, okay, this switch is not going to work. Other ports are down state, in the down state. And the company has enabled security that I'm not able to use something that is going to provide me more number of ports or more number of connections. So what to do? This is the authorized PC connected. Now I have one option. Let me do one thing. Let me remove this cable from here and connect it here. Now only one MAC address. Correct. Let's try to communicate. We will be able to communicate. Why? Because how we are filtering? Only one MAC address. That MAC address can be anything. That we do not care. That MAC address can be anything. Clear? Now see. And if your authorized PC is trying to communicate, oh, still the STP process is going on. So to avoid this process, we use the port fast. That's why we use the port fast. So that this port will instantly come up and we will have the communication. So fast forward. Now try. Okay. That was the STP who was blocking the port and everything. So you see, authorized is also having the communication and your unauthorized PC is also having the communication.
So
So these are PCs, they will not generate the BPDUs also. BPDUs are generated.
For the switch side,
Yeah.
BP,
Multiple.
No one can come and take plug another switch into the port.
Okay, maybe they will not plug a switch. What if they connect a router here, Wi-Fi router? Multiple possibilities. Okay, so that's why we have the port security concept. Now this guy is able to use, you can see here. Even the unauthorized PC is able to communicate. So now what we can do, we want that specifically this PC can only communicate. So what we can do, we can bind this F0/1 port with the interface. I mean, with the MAC address of PC1, authorized PC. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and let me show you how to change the port security violation mode also. Okay. So this time I'm going to change the port security violation mode. Command is, see, same set of commands. Interface F0/1. On this port, you want to change the port security violation mode. You will say switch port, port security violation, and change the mode to restrict. Now what will happen? Port will not go down. First thing. Second thing, unauthorized PC will not have the access and the logs will be generated. Okay. But the logs will not be visible in your packet tracer. Okay. Right now, the logs will not be visible in your packet tracer. How the logs will be generated? Let me show you. Directly see the images. See here. Port secure violation error detected on F interface 0/1, putting in the error disabled state, or these kind of logs will be generated. Okay, but these logs will not be visible in the packet tracer. Okay. All right, now we have to do what? We have changed the port security mode. Okay, you can check. Show interface, show port security. Do show. Interface F0/1. Mode is changed to first. Okay. Now this time what we are going to do, we are going to bind this port with the MAC address of this PC. So what I'll do, I'll go to this PC, config, fast Ethernet interface. This is the MAC address. I'll copy the MAC address. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the switch and I'm going to enable port security. Now how we are going to enable port security? Interface F0/1. Then you'll say switch port mode, access, enable the port security, switch port security. Now we will bind this port with the MAC address. So we'll say switch port security, MAC address, and then just paste the MAC address. That with this port, only this MAC address should be able to communicate. Okay. Found duplicate. Okay, we already had communication through this one. Let me do one thing. This is the authorized PC. Config, fast Ethernet. This is the MAC address. Okay, just go to the interface. Change here the MAC address. Total secure MAC address on interface. Did it already configured? Do show interface F0/1. No, there is no configured MAC address. Okay, let me do one thing. No switch port security. Do show interface. Do show port security interface F0/1. Now we can do that. Now see, switch port mode access, switch port security to enable the port security, then switch port security, MAC address, and then paste it. Done. Okay, I just disable the port security and re-enable it. Okay. Now see, these are the three commands. So you have to give this command separately, switch port security, to enable the port security. And then only you will give this command of the MAC address.
At a time, it will not work.
No, at a time, if you directly give this command, you do not give this command, you will get an error. Okay. So now if you want to bind the port with the host, okay, let me do one thing. So third thing we can do what? Bind port with host. Bind port with host using MAC address. And how you are going to bind the port? You are going to say interface name. Then you will say switch port security to enable the port security. Then switch port security, and before that, don't forget the switch port mode access, MAC address, and here you will give the MAC address. Okay, and after this, switch port mode access. Okay, This is how you're going to do it. Let me paste it here. This is clear. So now we have bound the port with the host with the MAC address. Now, if your unauthorized PC will try to communicate, should it have the access? No, it will not have the access. Will the port go down? No. Why? Because violation mode is restrict now. So now if your unauthorized PC tries to communicate, it doesn't have the access, and you can see that even the port is up. Okay. See, port is up, still not having the communication. So what about your authorized PC? Go here, desktop, command prompt, ping 10.1.1.100. STP is still working, so I'll just fast forward it. See. And you can see again, I will go to the unauthorized PC. Port is up. No communication. So now no one can connect unauthorized PCs in your enterprise. Okay. Now one more problem is there. What is the problem? Right now you have one system only, so you can see the MAC addresses and configure the MAC addresses. What if there are thousands of systems? In that case, you are not going to type in each and every MAC address in there. Then what we can do? We can dynamically bind the port with the host. Okay. So how you're going to do that? You'll say dynamically bind ports with hosts. Okay. And how it will happen? Same set of commands. Only one difference will be there. What is the difference? Instead of typing in the MAC address, you will type a word here. And that word is sticky. What this sticky word is going to do? It is automatically going to capture the first MAC address that is going to communicate through that port. We'll capture the first MAC address, and then it is going to bind it with the port. Okay. So now instead of using single interface, because this configuration we have to either you can go and do on the single interface, or the better option will be use the interface range option. Okay. So you can say here, either this, you can go with the single interface also, or let me say, you can use here interface range. Okay. Then range of interfaces, what all the interfaces you want to configure with the sticky command. Both options you have, either this or this. Is that clear? Okay. So here, let's say I will use few more PCs. This side.
How long this sticky command process?
Instant.
For example, I'm connecting it today. So will it be like
it will remain. See, by default, your changes will be in the RAM only. If you want to make the changes permanent, if you want to make this sticky configuration permanent, okay, you just give the right command. It is not like it is a dynamic entry. No, it will just capture the first MAC address. Whatever the first PC is communicating. And initially, when you're designing a network, the first PC that will be communicating will be your authorized PC only.
So if I wanted to like assign it to some other one,
then you have to individually clear out the port and then do the configuration. Okay, this is when you want to have it in bulk. That you want that, okay, for individual PCs, you're not going to configure. If it is one or two PCs, that is fine. But if you are configuring for thousands of PCs, in that case, you'll have to go with this sticky option. Okay, both the options you have. Let me change the.
In case if someone comes and they're like, no, I cannot connect to the report. Suppose that user goes off. Goes out of the company. And a new user is coming.
In that case, you will have to see either if the company is providing the systems, then no matter who is the user, that particular system will be the authorized PC only. Okay. If the user is using personal laptop, that is a different scenario. In that case, you will have to allow that particular laptop only. But usually in the enterprises, personal things are not allowed. So if the company is providing laptop, that will be laptop's MAC address. But when it is laptop, usually you will be connecting via Wi-Fi. So that is a different case, wireless security, MAC filtering.
In case like if I wanted to clear, I can go and clear.
Yeah, you can individual port, you can just go and clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Now change the IP addresses. Let's say this one I will do 2. This one, let's say 3. And this one, let's say 4. Done. And this one, I'll change it to 5. Okay. Now what I'll do, these will connect on which ports? 2, 3, and 4. F0 by 2, 3, and 4. Let me go here. So interface F0 by 2, I already gave to the shutdown state. So I'll say interface range F0 by 2 to 2 to 4. First of all, no shutdown, so that whatever interface I send to down state, shutdown, no shutdown. Okay. Okay. These are saying to down state because actually nothing is connected here. Okay. That's why. Now see, then interface range. Okay. And I will use F0 by 2 to 4. Okay. Then switch port, mode access, switch port. Let's say now I'll directly give the command. You were saying, right? MAC address, and let's say I directly give this command. Given now it's
already in restrict mode only.
It
will already be in restrict mode.
No. It will not.
The default in mode
Shutdown. Default is the shutdown. Let me do one thing. Let me connect these pieces. 0 by 2, 0 by 3, 0 by 4. Okay. To show port security interface and then F0 by 2. Do you see? This command has been configured. No problem. But your port security status is still down. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to give the command switch port security. Once you give this command, now check. Now it is enabled. And let's change the mode also. Switch port security, violation, and let's say protect. So in protect, port will not go down, right? Unauthorized PC will not have the communication, and logs will also not be generated. Okay. Now see, these are all authorized PCs. So if I check the running configuration as of now, show run. So on interface F0 by 1, we have manually configured the MAC address. On F0 by 2, 3, and 4, we have given which command? Sticky command. Do you see any MAC address here? No. MAC address has not been bound. Why? Because there no communication has happened so far. So what I'll do here, let me go to this PC and I will ping 10.1.1.2 self ping 3 4 done. Also check with the all communication. Now communication has happened. Now check the MAC addresses. Do you see sticky? And after that, one more command is there that is capturing the MAC addresses. Okay. Now this configuration right now it is in the RAM only. So if you restart your switch, all the configuration of is gone. All the MAC addresses will get cleared. So what you have to do here? right? And this configuration will become permanent. Now, anytime your switch goes off and on, still this configuration will remain and no one will be able to connect because this is now permanent configuration, startup configuration. Okay. Now we have connected. So you can see your authorized PC has the communication. Correct. And if you connect unauthorized PC here, the port will not go down and unauthorized PC will not have the communication. Clear? This is your concept of port security. Port security is clear. Okay. So how to change the port security violation mode? If you want to change the port security violation mode, the command is just go to the interface name, switch port, port security. Spelling mistake. Okay. Violation, and you can change any mode. By default, it is shut down. So if you want, you can give shutdown also, restrict also, and protect also. Any mode. Other thing, if you want to change the number of MAC addresses, by default, only one MAC address will be allowed. Okay. Allow more than one MAC address. To a port. So that also you can do. Interface name. Okay. Then you can say switch port security. Maximum. And then you can give the number of MAC addresses. Okay. What is the number of MAC addresses you want to allow? So if you see here, interface F0/1, switch port security, maximum, and you can see you can allow up to 132 MAC addresses. Okay. This is clear. So this is all about your port security. Any doubt?